Welcome back to the Legend of Korra. So now to
Where are we going?
to the South Pole too.
So, after doing a bit of research, it turns out I was wrong about this team having an overall consistent arc of getting better. Wait, these guys again? No, seriously, it's the same it's the same members. Oh, again, why are the Triple Threat Triad working with the non-menders, the same people who literally drain them? And also, they're using one of the recolors, despite the fact that they had the original color variants in the cutscenes.
Because, Jova, we need video game enemies.
But, my god, up the variety, for Christ's sake. Okay, but yeah, like I was saying, it turns out I was wrong, and while this same team did go on to make Transformers Devastation, apparently the TMNT game came after that. Now, don't get me wrong, the TMNT game, from what I can recall, has good writing. It's the gameplay that eventually becomes an issue. Well, now, to be fair, the gameplay does have the variety you would expect at first, with the four turtles playing differently. The problem, again, is like, well, it runs into a similar version of this game's problem, where eventually it just drains itself. Hey, Janora.
Opportunity to get your firebending back. Focus your
Of course, get your fire, but god damn it! Hey, we were listening to Janora.
Okay. So basically, so that's basically the idea. In order to recover your firebending, you need to maintain your combo streak. I guess I guess they couldn't really come up with any other gameplay way of earning firebending, I guess. So.
Theo.
Theo's burp. Well, to be fair, I think to be fair, what gameplay mechanic could you even do that would contextually work with the Avatar mythos? Because again, the whole parry the attacks thing and while defending, yeah, that makes sense because earthbending is about to stand your ground. Okay. According to Avatar: The Last Airbender, fire bending is all about, you know, like the energy in your belly, like Iroh says to Zuko.
It comes from the breath, essentially.
So, to be fair, what gameplay mechanic could they even use to translate that? So, I guess to be fair, I'm going to give the developers some leeway because, I mean, what gameplay using this type of genre? What kind of gameplay can you even do to translate that? Go on.
And I suppose to give them credit, the way that you unlock each element is unique in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I do feel like they could have maybe have come up with better ways to unlock them, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know, this is a good moment here. I was gonna ask you, Shuri, any idea on how getting back firebending somehow correlates to building up your combo meter, which is the way we got back firebending?
You had to fire up your spirit.
I guess.
Let's go with that.
Like, yeah, you literally get super excited and then literally fires you up.
I get that though. It's just that it's unlike earthbending. It's not consistent with Iroh said in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Well, it wasn't even getting water bending was not consistent.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Drink magical water 4 times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Like they managed to get a good excuse for earthbending, not the other elements though.
Now, from what I can recall of this game, the way firebending in this game works is like, well, firebending is more so the button masher.
Yeah.
Or, well, you know, the combo masher of it. Like,
firebending.
The more rapidly you press buttons, the more moves you do with firebending.
If you're into chaining combos, firebending is your gameplay style.
Okay, I have one question about firebending because that's the thing that actually interests me the most. They probably did not do it probably for, you know, balancing and gameplay constraints around me, but can you actually patch to perform lightning bending if you're good enough at firebending? God damn it.
Nah, they don't. I don't think they let you do any of the super versions.
To be fair, Korra never does lightning bending in the show, so it wouldn't be consistent with the show.
I just noticed that now.
Wait.
Come to think of it,
does she, Jova? I don't remember.
I don't remember her doing it.
No. I don't recall her ever learning lightning bending. I think she tried to do metal bending. I don't know if she succeeded in learning that.
Oh, she actually did. She went literally to the sea to study it and everything.
I'm trying to remember if she succeeded, though. I know Bolin didn't succeed, but he figured out that he could do lava bending.
I mean, it's actually quite interesting because considering how again, his name is very hard to pronounce. Like that really cool 2-part analysis video of season 2 really put it very well. They trivialized lightning bending so much in Korra that I'm actually surprised they didn't make that one of her regular moves, to be honest with you.
Oh god, I feel like I know which reveal you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
He has a very hard to pronounce YouTube name, so don't worry. The point is, lightning bending in the original series was regarded as something that only very select few people could pull off because it was that hard of a thing to do. But suddenly in Korra, every firebender can do lightning bending, and it's just kind of, I don't know.
Let me put it like this. With metal bending, it makes sense that Toph would want to spread that. So, technically, metal bending was something that was possible. You just had to know about it. Like, okay, metal bending's rarity was due to the fact that no one knew that Earth was actually refined metal, or knew that the metal was as bendable as Earth. It took Toph, who literally can see stuff through anything that's Earth, realizing, hey, I can see the stuff in metal, maybe I should try bending it.
And she was also in a desperate situation, so she had to really think of what she could have.
Yep.
Lightning bending, conversely, does require a certain tranquility of mind. Which, to be fair, kind of did get contradicted given the fact that Azul was able to use lightning bending even when she went completely crazy. Well, granted, her lightning was more erratic there, but still, I digress. Now, for the sake of it, maybe for lightning bending, more people learned it, and here and there. I will say this. I feel like I get what they were trying to do. You know, lightning benders now, they're people who work at a power plant. Oh, it's you.
Hello.
You've been very weirdly absent from the game, my dude, and you're supposed to be the villain.
He's just
and he vanishes again, just so that, again, more recolors of the same bosses we've been fighting through this game can fight us again.
Gee, Jova, it's like the context and story of this game was a complete afterthought or something.
Forget context, I'm just sick of the fact that we fight the same damn bosses over.
Of all the free licensed platinum games, I'm willing to believe that this was the most rushed of them all, because TMNT and Transformers Devastation don't have a problem with reused enemies. I mean, yeah, there are some reused enemies still, but they do a better job of hiding that. This game, on the other hand, doesn't even try to hide the fact that it's just fighting the same three mooks over and over and over and over.
Yeah, like, TMNT may have gameplay issues, but it definitely has more variety than this. Again, Transformers Devastation is the best out of the bunch, and that one's biggest problem is just that it's way too short, essentially.
The sad part is that if there's one thing about this game that I think is pretty much stellar is the presentation. The visuals look exactly like how I would want an Avatar game to look like. Cel-shaded, to recreate the look of the show as much as possible, and they even copy-paste the music from the show. So presentation-wise, it's pretty much a perfect adaptation. It's just it's just a shame that they couldn't get a good story to go along with it.
And I'll give him credit. While the cutscenes aren't necessarily up to the same quality, they do look like something that would have come out of the show.
Oh no, the cutscenes also, they also look like you're watching the show.
By the fact that all the voice actors came back.
It's just a shame that they were given nothing. Like seriously, there's zero going on in this story. It's so transparently just an excuse for gameplay levels. So transparent.
Now, one thing that Korra had over, well, not necessarily over, but I can see one problem it would have had that Devastation and TMNT didn't have. To my recollection, is that Korra was part of a series that was ongoing at the time. So the plot that they could do was probably incredibly limited, seeing as how they probably had to go back and forth on the mandates, what was going on in canon, and, you know, how to not contradict stuff here and there. So I can kind of see why the narrative may have had to take a back seat.
I mean,
like Devastation and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Manhattan Project, those ones, from what I can recall, are more or less in their own world.
It's actually
they're based on certain.
It's actually Mutants in Manhattan. Manhattan Project is the third NES game. But whatever, moving on.
mutants in Manhattan. But you get my drift, though.
Yeah,
The Devastation and mutants in Manhattan had the advantage that they weren't tied to.
I get the feeling it's also probably because of the rushed nature. Because
yeah,
if they
that's part of why I think that there was a rushed nature in that regard.
because I believe that they could have very easily still have a more fleshed out story than this. Just make sure it doesn't contradict anything and make it as self-contained and independent as possible. Make as few references to the continuity as possible and just focus entirely and exclusively on the simple story that you have, and make sure it's completely original stuff that has no bearing on the show, so that way people who haven't played this game don't have to. Like, it could have been very... Look at Eternal Diva, for example. You don't have to watch that movie to understand Azure Legacy. Like, the game references it here and there, but even people who haven't seen that movie can follow Azure Legacy just fine. Because the game, whatever needs to be explained, the game will do, and even then, it's more just a passing mention at best. So, Eternal Diva is not a required homework for understanding Azure Legacy. So, there are ways of achieving this.
Would you look at that? A red version of the mech.
Yeah.
Gasp.
I'm starting to... You really get annoyed that I'm fighting the exact same boss over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting him the exact same way. There you go.
Earthbending.
I mean, I don't really have any reason to experiment with other stuff because, as you can see, earthbending is the best way to take care of this boss. Why should I even bother trying experimenting with other bending? There you go, see?
I know it's due to the nature of being a game, but I love how Korra just has that dorky smile on her face while she was pulverizing.
Like, I did I?
Yeah. Alright, to the South Pole. Oh, great, another Naga level. Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, so press X when the firebending gauge is full to use Fire Shot. Try it. So basically, you can use firebending to blow up any obstacles in front of you.
To give him credit, I feel like these sections are not necessarily inherently bad.
Oh, no.
Now, the execution leaves a lot to be desired, but I do feel like, there's a...
Hell, Jova. Naga is so underutilized in the show that, if anything, this is actually kind of a welcome thing, to be honest. Because Naga is such a cool idea, a polar bear dog, and they do little to nothing with her throughout the show.
With the fauna that introduces so little in terms of new animal combination and doesn't even have that much of a pre-existing one.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be like the Appa of the series, but of course... unfortunately, she's not as big as Appa, so the new gang, Okay, again, I do dig those animations that they made for that. But, no. Logistically, the new gang are too heavy for her, so instead they have to use stuff like vehicles and stuff when they form the party, essentially.
I wouldn't even mind that so much if they at the very least drove... Okay, how about this? Have Azami use an airship. Instead, no, she literally pilots Appa to take them places. Like, couldn't you... I mean, come on. Like, I get that... I mean, Appa was the big loved bison from the first series, but can't you give Azami her own unique way of carrying the group places? I mean,
don't you see, Pedro? It's the future. We got cars now.
Exactly. In that case, for as much as Teo doesn't like it, and I'm not particularly fond of it either, if you're going to do this anyway, at the very least use that, but they don't.
Like I said,
I'm already annoyed at the fact that Azami is just there to drive the party around. That in itself is also a gigantic problem for me, because Azami is not a character, it's a plot device. So, go on. Sorry.
Here's my take on things. Like, I don't mind inherently the introduction of new technology, but I'm also of the mindset that just because we got all this new technology did not necessarily mean we needed to replace the classic stuff from the series with just, now they have the technology. Like, maybe some people handle things old-fashioned. I mean, heck, the air nomads still use bison, as we see when Tenzin and his family first show up in the show.
I forgot if I mentioned, but I guess I might as well mentioning. I guess it stands to me what the midi-chlorian stands to most of the Star Wars fans. Like, it's technically something that's harmless on paper, but it's just something that nobody was asking about.
I don't really want to get into a discussion about that.
That was eventually going to happen because we did see during the original series that the Fire Nation were the spearheads of technology, and technology was developing stuff like airships, blimps, and whatnot. So, no, eventually we were going to get this stuff. And I don't mind that we have that stuff. What I do mind is the implication of it replacing everything. Like, maybe that's its way of suggesting that, oh, this is why in the future people don't have bending, except now we know that's not the case because we're getting an Earthbender series.
This is also another thing that you can tell that this is after season 2 because the spirit portal of the South Pole is open, as you can see.
Another section.
Now we have to fight a boss with Naga.
Wait. Hold on. Naga can literally swipe and break through those boulders.
Yes.
Why couldn't she have swiped and broken through those other boundaries before?
Because we have to give firebending some kind of use.
But even still, regardless, before we got the firebending, if she can smash through a boulder like that, shouldn't she have been able to have smashed through those wooden walls?
Look at the pretty bunny. But anyway, yeah, as you can see, the boss... Yeah, thanks, game. I figured that out on my own, thank you.
Try dodging, that's a cool trick.
Yeah, as you can see, just strike and dodge when they attack. It's very simple.
I guess it's neat that they're giving Naga a boss fight because, hey, like they just said, we're giving Naga some good
it's kind of like the motor ball from Final Fantasy.
You know, that's the sad part, Jova. This game makes better use of Naga than the show itself. How sad is that? How fucking sad is that?
You know, again, I will say this. I do hope that, you know, with Brian and Mike now having their own studios, that they won't have to deal with Nickelodeon's executive mandates, that they can hopefully focus all the way on it. Again, not to say that they were bereft of blame here. They do still have a lot of blame for how seasons 1 and 2 ended up. But I just hope that, you know, with their own studios, they'll have less issues, and they'll be able to hone those better when making the Earthbender series.
Hopefully. I'll look forward to it. I mean, hopefully by this point they've already did some soul searching by this point. Anyway, moving on.
I think they did, and to give them credit, we've seen by like book 3 and 4 of Korra, heck, even arguably the later half of book 2, not that that salvaged book 2, book 2 is still god-awful, but to be fair, book 2 did have that really good two-parter about the origins of the Avatar.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoy that two-parter, but like Lapaka, that's it, I remember his name, but like Lapaka said in his analysis video, it does kind of contradict some stuff from the lore that was established in the original series, but...
Yeah, it does have them retcons.
So, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but whatever, let's move on.
I'll take it.
Lapaka is his name, you say?
His videos are no longer on YouTube, so fortunately somebody put it on Pornhub. So
yeah, that's the thing. Pornhub's kind of the refuge to go for uncopywritten videos.
Why does everything end up on Pornhub?
Because Shiroi, the people at Pornhub don't. There's no copyright system in Pornhub, so people usually use that site to upload their stuff. Instead of YouTube.
You know the Hamilton musical was on there for a while?
Yeah, that's because...
Let me just put things into perspective for you. Pornhub are more friendly to users and less draconian with copyright law, to the point where people feel safer uploading some of their stuff to Pornhub.
Yes.
In a wholesome manner.
That's how low we've fallen, Shiroi. Anyway, alright, oh, hey, Jinora.
Remember your airbending training in the
Okay, I get that Janora's the tutorial one, but she really picks some awkward times. Like, I don't know, maybe it would be better fitting if she did this in between moments, because again,
this one,
lack of subtitles, that if you're not paying attention to her, you might miss what she's saying.
See, this is what I was talking about. For the airbending, just like with Earthbend, they found a good way. Like we saw in the original series, airbending is all about being nimble. And fast, and knowing how to think fast in tense situations. So obviously, the way to recover your airbending is by timing your dodge well. So yeah, they do a good job in getting good contextual ways of recovering earthbending and airbending. It's just a shame that they couldn't come somehow.
It's all about us having to stand our ground and counter.
Yeah.
Also, this is a platinum game that is rewarding correctly dodges, so you know what time it is, Jova.
Which time?
Now.
Yeah.
But
Pretty much almost all in platinum games tends to have a form of that, even in Automata. Rising doesn't because it prioritizes.
Alright, let me explain this to you. Airbending is broken as fuck. Look, like, you see, this is why they had Korra be very difficult. I can tell why they made it so that airbending is the one element Korra had trouble with, because they know how broken airbending can be.
keep in mind, we're near the end of the game, so yeah, airbending is kind of like the 11th hour superpower of this.
See, look at this. With basic combos, you can get multiple tornadoes surrounding you, beating the crap out of everybody. So yeah, once you get airbending, yeah, you're all set. Go on.
Yep. But yeah, no, I mean, like me and Pedro have said, it's weird that they were able to find good contextual ways with the lore to learn back earthbending and airbending. But for firebending and waterbending, it is a bit weird. Again, I do wonder if maybe they'd had more time, they could have come up with better ways on that. Like, part of me does wonder.
I mean, I still,
when it did.
Yes, it did. I still don't mind. Okay, hold on. Might as well wait.
Like, okay, yeah.
Into the spirit world you go.
Yep. Okay, we get why it had to come out when it did, because the series was kind of on its way to ending in 2014. But all the same, maybe it could have been fine if they just allowed it to come out a bit later. Again, for all we know, maybe development went super fluid, and this is just the best that the C or D team of Platinum could accomplish.
Hi, Iroh.
Hey, Iroh.
Thanks for charging us.
Yeah, you're still a dick, Iroh.
What can I say? Not enough leave teaser.
I guess.
This is why Zuko doesn't visit you in the spirit world.
I mean, I'm personally fine with the chaining combos for firebending. That one's fine. For me, the only one that I really bothered by is the waterbending one, was just fetch these 4 water thingies.
Magic water.
Yeah, it's just can you come up with something a bit more engaging for this? I don't know, because the other 3 are fine. I don't know.
I wonder if they really just drew a blank on that.
So yeah, we're almost, now that Korra has been thrown into the spirit world, in the next part we're going to finish the game with the big climax taking place in the spirit world. And we're going to finally reveal who this old man is. Why does he want to kill Korra so bad? Be prepared to be disappointed, because his backstory is so phenomenally rushed. You barely even get a chance to even absorb what he's saying.
So there you go, 6 chapters of gameplay.
I wonder if in universe, someone in the world of Avatar thinks, oh, I know, if I kill the Avatar, I will become the Avatar, or something like that.
I'm pretty sure someone might.
Sorry, villain. Well, remember, like Unalaq tries to become the quote-unquote dark Avatar. So
yes.
I meant like the proper one, but I'm guessing they don't
usurping
it doesn't work like that, Liz, because you have to if the Avatar.
That's not how it works. But can you imagine someone thinking that without knowing how it works?
Yeah.
From what we've seen in the series, the way the Avatar works is common knowledge enough that enough people know, okay, this new Avatar should have shown up, essentially. You know what's
interesting? Jova, remember how one of my big pet peeves in season 2 is when Unalaq's was like, oh, we don't need Korra anymore, he says to his children. Wait, I thought you said that she was necessary to open the portal. No, I believe there is another way. Then they go to the spirit world, and his plan to free Vaatu is by throwing water at the barrier. And guess what, Jova? I tried doing the same thing in this game. I decided to try doing the same thing here. because there are similar barriers in the spirit world in the next part we're going to do after this. And guess what? It doesn't work here either. Gee, it's like throwing water at the barrier. It was a stupid plan or something. I cannot believe
Ariel was thirsty.
I cannot believe they actually, see, the reason I harp so much on it is because it feels like something that came out of a parody, and yet it's played completely straight. It's so weird.
That's just one of Book 2's many, many problems here. Like, we even did a whole commentary on Book 2 and its problems. But Book 2 is one of the lowest points of a series.
See ya for the next part, though.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.